Great. Good morning, everyone. It is a beautiful Friday, headed into the Labor Day weekend, August 29th. My Cordaro Jewelers watch tells me it's 9:15 a.m. This is the Bob Cordaro Show. I am he. Broadcasting today from the United States of America, the country Red Skelton loved. It's also the place where the veterans we pay tribute to today, who we lost this year, thanks to John Basiliga and his great companies, like Joseph Wagner, my old pal from Dunmore, Thomas Woods, Wilkes-Barre, my old buddy and helped us start Landmark Bank, August Buddy Kramer, Joseph Bronco Kiddish, Drifton, Robert Grovich, West Hazelton, and Michael Rowland, Springfield Township, the United States of America, founded with a certain knowledge and understanding by our incredible, irreplaceable, amazing founding fathers, that government is not, shall not be, cannot be our parent, our guide, our salvation, not any of these things, but is nothing more than a necessary evil we require to organize and protect society. The United States of America, the country where, for the first time in human history, freedom was declared to be an unalienable right granted to each individual by God. It was not something that could be parceled out to groups. It was not something that could be controlled by government or government officials. Our great American Constitution ensures and codifies freedom of speech, freedom of religion, freedom of association, economic freedom, and freedom of the press, even if they use it to lie. Now, armed with these freedoms, a ragtag bunch of rejects, immigrants, and their progeny created the richest, most powerful, most culturally diverse and accepting nation ever to grace our planet Earth. America, the only place specifically invented and designed so that every American can live their life in the manner they choose, unlimited by their background, upbringing, race, color, or creed, unhindered by the government or those who would use government to control others for their own comfort, benefit, or power. And so, if I find the gavel, here it is, we gavel to order this meeting of the Club for Common Sense, promising you that for the balance of this morning, we will provide a sanctuary of sanity where, in a world where the entire Democrat Party has gone insane. Yes, it has. Sad to say. But we'll do that because we love to. Great to be with you this morning, everybody. So yesterday, I had the great opportunity. My friend Joe Mesco, well, you don't say, you say Joe Mesco Glass, invited me to golf up a country club of Scranton. So we went, and former Commissioner Bobby Pettinato played with us. His son-in-law, Frank Paoli, great guy. We had a good day out there. And then we went into you go in and they have this locker room bar that you hang around, smoke cigars and all that. A lot of great people there, but one amongst the many, our good friend and friend of the show, Joe Gershie, was there. It was just great. I got carried away. I ended up smoking, I think, 3 or 4 cigars, which is not normally. I'll have one. And I don't know, for some reason, I'm not the worse for wear this morning. Normally they affect me negatively, and I'm fine this morning. But a great afternoon. The weather was perfect. There's like if you guys notice it, there's a hint of fall out there. Now it's going to go to high 70s, but that's typical of September weather as we head into Labor Day. And everything is going to be, the weather's going to be absolutely ideal for Festa Italiana. And my base of operations for Festa Italiano is going to be a Terra 519. I absolutely love that place. I love the bar. I love the restaurant, but it's going to be my base of operations, and we'll launch out from there. Our friend Sue Henry, she will be working all the weekend at Sabatel's. Now, they're usually if you do the Italian 500, meaning you're racing around the square. As you're going up North Washington Avenue, they'll be there. And then I know Carmela's is always there. And then on the Spruce Street side, you have Villa Maria. And then coming around again, the beginning of North Washington on the square, North Washington and Linden, there is Unico with their incredible porchetta. Trying to think if there's any place else I regularly go to, but all great. I'm telling you, if you have never been there, just go and see it. It's just great. Park and go around the corner. Oh man. So this afternoon, I have these Cutie and I have all these little disputes. Okay, and. One of the disputes, she makes, they're having a baby shower for my daughter-in-law. And she's going to have a baby boy almost any time now. But certainly in September. And the great thing is my son Michael, whose baby it will be, he and Melissa, if she has the baby, he's a September baby. But she insists on, there's this drink that Del Frisco's, the steakhouse, I guess they made it famous. I don't know. It's with pineapples or whatever. And she goes through these machinations because you've got to marinate and it's like this whole complicated procedure. And she's so proud of it. And I tell her, nobody likes it. But she's made this drink, and now I'm not invited to the baby shower. I didn't know men weren't invited to baby showers, but I'm not invited to the baby showers. It's at Melissa's mother's house, and so she's got this drink, and I have to take it there. I actually don't know why. Like, why can't you take it there? So I'm going to have to load Chauncey up in Big Lou and drive it up to the house. But then I can't go to the party. I have to leave. So I have to take this drink, what I don't even know what it's called. And then I can't go. I've got to leave. So I don't know. It's just one of those things. All right. I'm excited because a couple of the veterans today I knew and really enjoyed, and we're going to have Sue Henry at the 10:30 hour. Tommy Woods, he's an old broadcast guy, and he passed away recently, is one of the veterans, and Sue Henry's going to call with her recollections of him. So a good day for our veterans. And we're going to do La Familia Friday today. I'm looking forward to that. I love the Mafia stuff. So all of that ahead of you. The Weekend Warrior is going to be here at 10 o'clock because it's a big week in college football. Now, you heard our new guy, Chet Parlavecchio, tell you, it's crazy to try to pick with the NIL and the transfer portal and all this other. It's crazy to bet on college football in the first few weeks. But intrepid as ever, the Weekend Warrior will make that effort. We'll take a break. We'll be back. It's the Bob Cordaro Show. Elvis. Murph says this date, 1960. He had the number one hit with It's Now or Never. I actually like it when it's before I'm born. Bob Cordaro with you on La Familia Friday. Why not? I mean, we've got Festa Italiana. And I'm not one of those Italians who is offended by the mafia stuff. So we're gonna lean into it today. The Bulldog's all ready. Bulldog, do you like the mafia stuff, don't you? Have you seen any of the mafia movies? Like you don't. He's like a complete shut-in. If it's not fireworks or a fireman's picnic, he just doesn't go. Why don't you go to the movies? I've been curious about this. That has nothing to do with the mafia. I mean, don't just see them on TV. You've seen Godfather, haven't you? Oh, my gosh. If you get Godfather, and I say this, and I say it seriously, Godfather 1 and 2, Star Trek, the original series, and Rod Serling. What's the show, Bulldog? I can't believe I'm Twilight Zone. All right, all those combined they completely describe the human condition. They cover everything. Again, Godfather 1 and 2. Rod Serling's Twilight Zone. And the original Captain Kirk Star Trek series. 4 years, 66 to 70. That every bit of the human condition is covered. Every single bit. That's why he's a bulldog. Because he doesn't want to understand the human condition. All right. Well, Bulldog will school you a little bit today on La Familia Friday. Somebody texted in, Bob, one of my favorite songs, It's Now or Never. And you know, that's why I play them a little longer than you'll hear on most shows. Because you don't want to get into a song a little bit and then have the guy talk over it, in this case, me. So I play them a little longer, so I'm happy some of you appreciate that. We'll take a break. We're going to come back after our great sponsors. We've got a Veterans Tribute and then more. It's the Bob Cordaro Show on a La Familia Friday. Our Veterans Tribute brought to you this hour and every hour, this day and every day by our man John Basiliga. And just one of his great companies, Basiliga Hospitality. Well, the two places that are going to be my headquarters for Festa Italiana, I don't need shelter from the rain, but a Terra 519 and Sergei's the nightclub. Keep it going after you've had enough Festa. Go downstairs to check out Sergei's the nightclub. You'll love it. The Bloomsburg Legion has a beautiful set of memorials outside of it. One of them is a stone that says, "What is a veteran?" Every day we use Sam Elliott in reading the description from one of the Normandy invasion soldiers, and that is a British soldier from World War I, talking about that horrendous conflict. And it brings out not only the valor of war and men in war, but it brings out the horror of it and the complete nonsensical nature of men starting wars, evil men. And then there's veterans of all stripes covered by this plaque, this stone outside the Bloomsburg Legion. A veteran, whether active duty, discharged, retired, or reserve, is someone who at one point in his or her life wrote a blank check made payable to the United States of America and its people for an amount of up to and including his or her life. That is honor, and there are way too many people in this country today who no longer understand that fact. Joseph Wagner. I knew him as Mr. Wagner, and a fun, good guy. He died July 11th. He was from Dunmore. Preceded in death by his wife, Anne Marie McDonald Wagner, in 2016. And my old buddy, T.J. Wagner, in 2017. Born in Scranton, a member of St. Mary's Parish, Dunmore, a graduate of St. Mary's High School and Lackawanna Junior College. He served this country by joining the Army in 1955. He retired from Lackawanna County Housing and Capitol Records, where he would proudly tell everyone that is where he met the love of his life, Anne Marie. Anne Marie was disabled, just another incredible sweetheart. We lived across the street from him when I first got married. And she was wheelchair bound, and he was devoted to her. It was beautiful. She predeceased him, as did TJ. Surviving his granddaughter, Holly, his daughter-in-law, Lori, and other family members. Joseph Wagner. Buddy Kramer, August Buddy Kramer. He passed away at age 84 on July 20th. He was from Duryea. His wife of 58 years was the former Nancy Pesatine, who died in 2017. He was the son of the late August Budge Kramer, who died in a mining accident in 1941. Surviving are his children, Deborah, 3 grandchildren, 4 great-grandchildren. He served this country, and he helped start Landmark Bank with us. He was one of the first guys we brought on. And once Gus came on, you knew the bank was going to succeed. And it did. And he had the military bearing even then, in the early 2000s. My old pal, August Gus Buddy Kramer. Our veterans this hour that I was pleased and honored to know. Brought to you by John Basiliga and his great companies, including Sergei's, the nightclub, and a Terra 519 right on Courthouse Square where Festa Italiana is happening this weekend. Wait, where's my weather report, Bulldog? You didn't give me a weather report. Oh, wait, here it is. All right. He is. All right. Storm Tracker 16 forecast from meteorologist Joe Snedeker today. Partly sunny and breezy with a passing shower, 70 degrees. It's 61 outside the studio right now, but until this cloud cover leaves, it's going to stay chilly. Tonight, partly cloudy, 46. Saturday, mainly sunny, 72. Sunday, sunny, high 75. Monday, Labor Day, sunny, 78. All right, I thought that the weather wasn't there. All right, Bulldog, you did your job. Chubby Checker moved up to number 3 with his hit The Twist. This date, 1960. And before that, of course, Funny How, Joe Pesci in Goodfellas, one of the greatest on a La Familia Friday. Hey, my buddy, and I got so many texts, I got to find it. But my buddy Tim Kramer, his dad is August Gus Buddy Kramer that we just honored, and he texted in. And Tim, I'm happy you're listening. You have so many of his characteristics. Yeah, great stuff. But he texted in that he was humbled to hear his father being honored. A humble man who never sought recognition, and he never did. And it touches me to know that he's not forgotten. He is not forgotten, Tim. And when we started Landmark Bank, that was a lot of money for me. I had 5 kids. And, and I meant it when I said it, Tim, your father was one of the first hires. And when he came on board, I said, my investment is safe. That kind of guy. Buddy Kramer. Yep. That's why, it brought tears to my eyes, both talking about Buddy and Joe Wagner. Joe Wagner just so loving with his wife, who was wheelchair bound for decades. And he was always with her, always caring for her. So we had two of the best people I ever knew this first hour in the Veterans Tribute. So thank you, Tim, for checking in and all that. That's why I do say it. It is my honor to do that. It truly is. Somebody texts in, hey, Bob, LTS, don't forget, remind people about the upcoming services for Jerome Mullaney. He was in D-Day, and his remains were just found. He was a Scranton native. I did not know that. September 3rd at St. Mary's Cemetery, Stafford Avenue. It'll probably be the only time in most people's lifetime to attend a World War II killed in action funeral with honors. Wow. I did not know about this. Was it? I'm guessing it was in the paper. The listener doesn't say who it is, who they are. So September 3rd. What is that? What's September 3rd? Next Wednesday? What is it, Bulldog? I got to look at a calendar. Boy, I would love to go to that. Wednesday. So next Wednesday at St. Mary's St. Mary's Cemetery on Stafford Avenue in South Scranton, they're going to honor Jerome Mullaney, whose remains were just found. Wow. A D-Day veteran. Holy cow. Actually overwhelmed. I'll take a break and be back. The Youngbloods. They recorded their hit Get Together this date, 1966, Murph tells us. And what a great song it is. 1996, Democrat National Convention in Chicago. Al Gore, the only self-deprecating statement he's ever made, he takes himself incredibly seriously. Murph Bulldog points out earlier in the day, it wasn't the only news of the day. President Bill Clinton's chief political strategist, Dick Morris, resigns amid a scandal over a relationship with a prostitute. He was a, screwy little guy. Anyway, but Al Gore. Oh, I say this often. George Bush was not a good president. W. And I liked him. I met him a number of times. His presidency was mediocre at best. But he saved us from Al Gore and John Kerry. Just think of this. Think of if we could have prevented Joe Biden. So his presidency was an incredible success based on that alone. By the way, a little further, one of our great listeners told me and alerted me to the story that WVIA local news is covering. And it is amazing. Scranton native Jerome Mullaney. He'll be buried next Wednesday. I got to figure out if I could go to this. It might be during the show, unfortunately. But he here's the story from WVIA, desperately wanted to be like his older brothers and serve the country during World War II. This is by Sarah Hophius Hall. She used to write for the Scranton paper when it was minor, when it could be credible. His parents allowed him to enlist in the U.S. Naval Reserve at the age of 17. Less than a year later, his mother answered the knock on the door that any military family dreads. 2 days after the Allied forces invaded Normandy, a German mine exploded near the stern of the USS Glennon, a naval destroyer assigned to participate in the D-Day operations. The explosion sent 16 sailors into the water off the French coast, including Mullaney. His remains sat unidentified until this year. More than 80 years after his death, the family will gather in Scranton on September 3rd as Mullaney receives full military honors as he's buried in his hometown. Wow. One of his nieces, Mary Louise Brambilla, says it provided closure to me. Wow. This is unbelievable. And by the way, as is typical, I don't think the local rag even covered this. But thank God for WVAA doing local news. All right, the family will gather at 11:30 a.m. September 3rd, St. Mary's Cemetery. Wow, wow, wow. That is unbelievable. For 8 decades, the family lived without the closure of putting Mullaney's remains to rest. This spring, remains found nearly 70 years ago finally received a name. In 1957, pieces of ship were hauled to shore by salvagers at Saint-Marie-du-Mont, France. A local resident found human remains in part of the ship. The Navy at the time could not identify them and recommended the remains be interred as unknown. In 2022, the Department of Defense and the American Battle Monument Commission exhumed the remains from the Ardennes American Cemetery in Ypres, Belgium, and transferred the remains to the DPAA laboratory at an Air Force base in Nebraska. Scientists looked at the remains' DNA sequence and compared it with other sailors killed in the attack, and with samples collected from maternal relatives of Mullaney. Wow. He was positively identified March 26th this year. Oh, my God. That is astonishing. And it finishes the hour. That's fabulous. Gosh, as you got to try to get to the cemetery Wednesday, September 3rd, St. Mary's Cemetery, Stafford Avenue, 11:30 a.m. Oh, my gosh. Well, my Bacardo Jewelers watch tells me it's 10 o'clock and change. That means I've got to take a break for the news. We'll do that. We will come back. It's the Bob Cordaro Show on a La Familia Friday. Guess what we're coming back with? The Weekend Warrior. Great good morning, everyone. My Cordaro Jewelers watch tells me it's 10:07:52 here in the great Northeast. That's AM, not PM. This beautiful Friday, August 29th, 2025. This is the Bob Cordaro Show. I am he, and it's a big day to fight for America, defend our values, and with the help of our man John Basiliga and his great restaurants, to honor the brave who have made us and kept us free. People like veterans we lost this year, but celebrate today, like August Buddy Kramer, Duryea, Joseph Wagner, Dunmore, Thomas Woods, Wilkes-Barre Township, Joseph Bronco Kiddish of Drifton, Robert Grovich, West Hazelton, and Michael Rowland, Springfield Township. So with history, our great founding fathers, and the incomparable Constitution of the United States of America as our guides, let us continue today's battle, gaveling back to order this meeting of the Club for Common Sense. And, there's a veterans tribute for you. Wow. Jerome Mullaney, killed as a teenager in World War II, and his remains coming back. This is a big deal. By the way, my man Mark Hoover over at Rock 107, he said Buddy Kramer, one of the veterans we honored at 9:30, was his Duryea Little League coach. Great man, he says. And if Hoove says it, it is. And by the way, and I know it firsthand. Amazing. We'll be talking about more about that. I'm going to try to get in touch with not for today, but Sarah Hophius Hall, who works now for the great local news operation at WVIA, and try to put something together for this Jerome Mullaney. It's astonishing. Hey, it's football season. Do you know what football season means? Well, it means a lot of things. It means back to school. It means the weather's going to get chilly. It means Festa Italiana. But you know what else? It means Weekend Warrior. He's back. Sid Hallinan, he's with us. It's a new year. Welcome back, Sid. How are you, my man?
Good, Bobby. Thank you. It doesn't seem that long ago we did the Super Bowl show, but we're back and we're ready to go. We're ready to go.
Hey, Sid, when we did it all last season, we had a blast. And we tried to get our buddy Ralph Romano, but he didn't want to do the preparation you do. And so Weekend Warriors went back to solo. And, we got Chet Parlavecchio coming on, is going to do a wrap-up after. So we're going to follow up on these things. And I'm excited for a new football season, although I hate to have time passing by so quickly. Man.
Yeah, it does. It went by too fast, but we're ready to go. Football season. The start of it's great, Bob. You know that. So.
And I didn't give you much notice. I realized, I don't know what I was watching. I might have been watching, flipping through when I watched the news to prepare for the show. And Fox News had this thing about a huge game on Friday night. And I'm like, what? Football already? And I said, I got to get Sid going.
Yeah, we're ready, Bob. I was waiting for the call. Waiting for the call.
Beautiful. All right, well, what do you got, Sid? Fire away.
All right, what do we got? It's a big game tomorrow at noon. I'm surprised it's not a primetime game between Texas and Ohio State. Ohio State is a 1.5 favorite. This is a great game. I mean, it's too bad it's not at the middle of the season.
Yeah.
But looking at it, both teams have very good rosters. Ohio State seemed to lose more than Texas, especially on the defensive side of the ball. The big talk has been about Arch Manning, who's going to be making only his third start for Texas. But I'm going to go with the road dog, Texas, getting a 1.5 over Ohio State.
Now, all right, so Chet said, hey, with NIL and the transfer portal, it is impossible to pick these games. What went into that for you? What went into your selection?
Well, I like to pick them. I'm gonna, if you ask me to pick these games, I'm going to pick them. I think Texas with the oil money down there, the NIL, there's a lot of money to go around in Texas. But again, Ohio State spent $20 million last year. I think they said they spent $22 million this year. But it's just a competition of picking these games. I like Texas.
Mm-hmm. Neat. What other games are happening?
All right, we got Alabama and Florida State. Alabama's -13. It's an improved Alabama team from last year. Florida State's still Florida State. They were 2-10. Bama's going to be much better. Kalen DeVore, the new coach at Bama, lost 4 games last year. He's not on the hot seat. They're going to be better, and they're going to be a contender. Mike Norvell, the coach at Florida State, 2-10 last year after coming off a great season the year before. If anybody's on the hot seat, he is. I can't see Florida State staying with Bama. Roll Tide. We'll take Bama -13.
All right. And what else we got?
What else we got is another big game, Bobby, is LSU at Clemson. Clemson is a 4-point favorite. It's at Clemson. Very difficult place to play. Clemson's getting a lot of people are considering them for a national title this year because of all the returning players. LSU, very good offensively. They had their problems defensively last year. Brian Kelly, LSU coach, has a tough time winning openers, let alone have to go to Death Valley and play. I'm going to take Clemson -4.
All right. And you got a couple other games.
Oh, yeah, Va-Tech at South Carolina. South Carolina came on at the end of last season. They felt they should have been selected for the college football playoff, but they came up short. They're a 13.5-point favorite over Virginia Tech. I'm going to go with South Carolina to cover that spread. I think they're probably one of the most improved teams in the country offensively. Defensively, they have some questions, but I'm going to take South Carolina -13.
All right, you got one more.
I got one more Sunday night, Notre Dame and Miami. Notre Dame is a 2.5-point favorite. They return a great running game, great offensive line, great defense. The only question mark is C.J. Carr's first start at quarterback. Some red flags have gone up about that, but I think Notre Dame. Miami is another team that just has a tough time winning opening games, and they'll be much better this year. Carson Beck, the Georgia quarterback last year, transferred over for $7 million, so he's at Miami. And I'm going to go with Notre Dame. I just think they'll just have a little bit too much on both sides of the ball.
So we got Bama, Texas, Clemson, South Carolina, and Notre Dame for your picks in the opening week. Sid, it's a little unusual to have this many big-name teams playing each other week one.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
it is. It's a great weekend if you're a college football fan. It's the games are spread out nice too. The only thing that surprised me, like I said, Texas and Ohio State playing at noon tomorrow. I thought that would have been a primetime game, but it's not. But yeah, it's a great weekend for college football, and let's see what happens. It's always fun. It's always fun.
Well,
and if we could find Ralph, we'll send out an APB on Ralph.
He retired from WILK, and
he retired.
We lost him.
He's working for Jared Jones. He's going to Green Bay with Michael Parsons.
Hey, Sid, thank you. Great to be back with you. I look forward to talking to you next week. Next week we'll do your regular Thursday slot, right? Is the NFL starting next week?
Yeah, we got the Birds and the Cowboys Thursday night from Philadelphia.
Good game. All right, my man. Thank you very much. Love
Okay,
having
Bob,
you back,
you.
Sid. We'll see how your picks stand up.
Okay, my friend. Always a pleasure.
Sid Hallinan, the Weekend Warrior. We'll take a break. We'll be back after this. It's the Bob Cordaro Show. The Beatles. Murph tells us this date, 1966, they had their last ever concert at Candlestick Park, San Francisco. The last song they performed, Murph says, in that concert was Little Richard's Long Tall Sally. And, of course, before that, the horror of Hurricane Katrina hit the U.S. Gulf Coast. Now, remember this, and I said it at the time. I wasn't on the radio. I was a county commissioner. Just to show you that this erosion of the Democrat Party has been going on for quite some time. Mississippi actually got hit worse than New Orleans. Where did the ravage and the lingering horrendous after effects go on and on and on? New Orleans, because of incompetent Democrat mayors and governors and politicians. Unbelievable. Mississippi recovered really quickly, certainly in the face of what they took. So remember, they got hit harder. And New Orleans is the one that screwed it all up. First the dikes went, and unbelievable. And that's something. Scary stuff. Hey, let's go to Joe from Berwick. Hi, Joe. How are you?
Hello, Bob. Hey, so I've got a couple things for you here. First thing is on Mount Pleasant Road going outside of Orangeville, just about a mile outside of Orangeville, I just found a stand that sells farm fresh eggs, which if you know anything farm fresh eggs, you can just set them on your counter for 2 weeks. You don't even have to refrigerate them. And raw honey, the raw unfiltered honey, the stuff that has the sediment in the bottom, which is really good. It has all all the good stuff.
I have my beekeeper's daughter honey from local honey as well, right here on my desk. Raw and unfiltered, it says. Yep. Yep.
You know what it is. It's good stuff. So the second thing, before I get to my main point, is you need to get full life-size cardboard cutouts of Taylor and her boyfriend and have them in, wedding attire and put them in, the booth or the room wherever Jake works so that he's reminded of the upcoming event every day. I'm sure I know he'd love it, but
I mean, look, I'm happy for them. They're two seem to be nice people. They're not going to change well, actually, she changes the world, but God bless her. I mean, there's not much happening there.
Yeah, so
God bless them both.
But my main point I called about, and it is really interesting. You know what I do for a living, and I was just talking to a guy I do work for, and he was commenting on how the roofing industry in this area is getting really pressed because here's the deal. An issue that needs to be dealt with is, number one, way too many lazy, shiftless, do-nothing Americans who are they're just growing up lazy, and you can't get them to work. That's one issue. The second issue is some of Trump's policies, unfortunately, for whatever reason, they're even affecting, visa holders. And he said the recent one was Nicaragua, because I guess there's some kind of beef with Nicaragua, and they canceled visas from this country. And he was telling me how what everybody does know. I mean, listen, God did not put the brown man on this earth to pick our vegetables and do our labor. Okay, the Bible says everyone's supposed to work. Let's get that point straight.
Yep. But
the truth of the matter is that anybody who runs these businesses knows that they said it's even very specific. Like he even said, it's not even, you can't even go and recruit he said, Puerto Rican workers, because he said what they found out was if they went and found some and they recruited them to come up here, they would find out, for instance, in their case, that, hey, they can go work at a restaurant or some other job and get almost the same amount of money as the hard work, and that's what they were doing. So what they found out was that they were getting mostly people from certain other South American and Central American countries who are still willing to work and grateful to work and are willing to do the hard work. Now, my point is, everybody knows that this issue had to be addressed because how Democrats were using illegal immigration for nefarious means. But there's still a need for legal immigration.
And there's temporary visa programs for all of that.
Yeah, well, but apparently, some decisions, being made are affecting that. And my point is, it would behoove them to get out ahead on this issue and not let Democrats own it. Because if there's a need for illegal immigration, and first of all, as you know, our Constitution.
By the way, Joe,
on Congress.
Point taken. They should be pushing and promoting legal immigration, even as they do the deportation, the necessary deportation, and rounding up on everybody. Yeah. Yeah,
exactly, and use this issue to draw people to their side, just as Democrats have been doing in the wrong way. And the last point I'll make about it, Bob, it is actually the constitutional duty of Congress to set rules for immigration, and they haven't done that, and that's why we've had the mess we're in. In my opinion, it would behoove Republicans to visit this issue and say these are the new rules for immigration, and use that to actually draw in people who want to work coming from these countries. and revitalize the workforce.
You got it, man. I'm with you. Thank you so much, Joe. Pleasure, always.
Thank you, Bob. Take care.
All right, my friend. Yeah, Joe brings up a great point. They really do need to start talking about ramping up legal immigration simultaneous with this deportation. I'm on that. By the way, so somebody texted in, and everybody, well, a lot of us remember the statement from George H.W. Bush. You're doing a heck of a job, Brownie. He was the FEMA director. But let me say this. I'm going to defend Bush and Brownie. When you've the FEMA work flows through necessarily and legally local officials. And the incompetence in New Orleans and Louisiana were so awful that it wasn't really Brownie's fault. It was a funny statement and all that. But it wasn't really Brownie's fault in Katrina. And unfortunately, Bush took the blame. It was all the Louisiana officials. Because, again, as I pointed out, Mississippi recovered because they had a great governor and they had great local officials. And FEMA cannot operate without them. But thank you for reminding me of that. By the way, Joe from Trips Park said, Godfather fun fact. If Sonny had Easy Pass, Sonny Corleone, he would have taken over as Godfather. Yeah. Somebody else texted in LTS, the Jerome Mulaney story gives me chills that they found that hero. I'm with you. And one more. This is on apropos. Well, here's another. Art, my man Art checking in. He said Al Gore said Florida was supposed to be underwater by now. Yeah, I know it. And then apropos of nothing but something of consequence. Hey, Bob, speaking of football, want to give a shout out to the Hanover Area School District meaning a shout down, for trying to extort their Mini Hawk football team $1,400 a game just so the kids could play on their own home field. And the listener points out, the Mini Hawk organization is all volunteer. Can't say it's a security issue. Local police department offered to volunteer. Also worth noting, Hanover area is the highest school tax in Luzerne County. Shame on that district. They're trying to charge $1,400 for the midget football team every week. Oh, my gosh. Shame on you, Hanover area. Shame on you, school district. Change this, or we're gonna make fun of you every week. To the great listener who sent this in, you remind me every week this is going on, and we'll give them a shout out and a shout down. All right, we'll take a break. Bob Cordaro, WILK. On the other side, we got a veterans tribute, and our friend Sue Henry is going to join us in that tribute. We'll take a break and be back. It's the Bob Cordaro Show. Our Veterans Tribute this hour and every hour, this day and every day, brought to you by our man, John Basiliga, who reminds you that headquarters for Festa Italiana, 519 Linden Street, a Terra 519, and Sergei's the nightclub. They'll be right in the middle of the action and looking forward to it. Thomas Woods. We lost him May 19th. He was from Wilkes-Barre Township. You'd recognize his voice, if not his face. He was born in Wilkes-Barre, graduate of Kingston High School, class of 56, and then Wilkes-Barre Business College. He served with the U.S. Army Reserves, 1956 to 1964. Tom's career in broadcast spanned over 65 years. Well-known radio and TV, a disc jockey, announcer, having worked locally at Warm Radio, WILK Radio, and as director of creative services at WBRE-TV. In the early 70s, he worked in Washington, D.C. at WTOP, and later at what was the network, Syndicated Mutual Broadcasting System. He operated his own media company also, serving as a television and radio spokesman in the advertising industry, and then worked at Wyoming Valley Sanitary Authority in public relations. He served on the Mohegan Sun Arena Board of Directors, as well as the Wilkes-Barre Township Zoning and Hearing Board. Tom led a life filled with purpose and passion, thriving in a career that brought him joy and fulfillment. His unwavering faith served as the foundation for his many contributions to the community. Tragically, he was preceded in death by his grandson, Jake DiGeronimo. But he survived by his loving wife of 61 years, Fran Misavage Woods, his children, and his grandchildren. Tommy Woods. And with us is our friend Sue Henry, who knew Tom, worked with him. Sue, welcome to the Bob Cordaro Show and this tribute to your friend Tommy Woods.
Thanks for asking me, Bob. I could talk about Tom Woods all day.
Talk away.
Well, he was, to me, somebody who took the roles in his life very seriously, and you just read a whole bunch of diverse roles that he had during the course of his life. I remember him as a consummate newsman, somebody who reported for WILK on our news broadcasts. That's where I got to know him better.
Yeah.
Obviously, coming from the generation I did and loving radio the way that I did then and I do now, when I met him, it was like meeting a rock star to me, because these guys, to me, were absolutely larger than life. And, some of them were jerks, not Tom Woods, though. He was a great guy. He was just a salt-of-the-earth guy. He was married to his wife, who I've always called his wife Frances, Saint Francis. We used to kid that she had to be a saint to be married to him, so I called her that. And I didn't tell this story when I talked about him on the air, but I'll tell you, as a testament to who he was and what a great guy he was. My mom died in January of 2019, and it was up in Clark Summit. She was her mass was at St. Gregory's, and it was like Dr. Zhivago weather. The wind was whipping across the parking lot. Who shows up there in Clark Summit but Tom Woods?
Yeah.
And he brought St. Francis. She stayed in the car. But who does that? That to me is such a testament of his life to me personally. That was very touching to me.
That is great. That voice was so soothing. I mean, everybody knew that voice for decades in this area.
It's true, because as you mentioned, he did a lot of the work for WBRE, so his voice did appear on all kinds of imaging, obviously on WILK. When he was in the news department, we had him there. So, you're either born with that kind of voice or you're not. And he, like many other people who live here, and I don't think this area gets enough credit, we have sent so many broadcasters to huge markets in this area. And he had the fortitude and he did it. That's a testament again to who he was, that he had the talent and the skill set to take that on to the Mutual Broadcasting Network. And you're right when you talked about it. That was premier. It was UPI. Yep. It was Mutual. They were the old school networks, and his voice appeared probably across the country on that network, which is really a testament.
Amazing stuff. Tommy Woods. Great legacy, not only family, but memories. And he served this country for 8 years in the U.S. Army Reserves.
It's incredible. And he didn't talk about that too much, Bob, by the way. That was something that,
that's
kind
the
of
greatness of it.
Yeah, kept it close to the vest.
Yeah.
And then, of course, when the arena came to Wilkes-Barre Township, his service on the arena board, he took very seriously. I know a couple of people who served with him on the arena board, and they loved him to pieces because he was very civically minded. He did that. As you mentioned, he worked on the zoning board in the township. Wilkes-Barre Township, obviously one of the best-run townships in Luzerne County by far, with Mayor Curran, who was a very close-knit friend of Tommy's. You'd see him hanging out with Mayor Curran in the Wilkes-Barre Township municipal building, like yucking it up.
Yeah.
So from that perspective, he carried that service theme throughout his life.
Amazing stuff. Sue Henry, thank you for your recollections of Tommy Woods.
Sure.
We appreciate it so much.
Absolutely. Thanks for asking.
All right. Tommy Woods, our veteran, this hour, brought to you by John Basiliga. And remember, when you're at Festa Italiana, take a look inside and have a cocktail, maybe a little dinner, maybe an appetizer at a Terra 519. And at night, Sergei's, the nightclub. It'll be hopping. Storm Tracker 16 forecast from meteorologist Joe Snedeker. Today, partly sunny and breezy with a passing shower. High of 70. Tonight, partly cloudy. Low of 46. Saturday, mainly sunny, 72. Sunday, sunny, high 75. Monday, Labor Day, sunny, high 78. So I get the morning papers today, and I see above the fold the headline, Special Election to Fill Seat. Now, this, I don't know what else to call him, but Bill Gaughan, this horrible county commissioner and left-wing lunatic, he's trying now. He lost in court. The Supreme Court's probably not going to hear his appeal, which he has no right to file because he didn't have a second vote. Well, now they put Judge Terry Nealon on the election board. Why Terry? He probably volunteered because Terry Nealon, and I know him a long time, he's the most political of all of the judges on the Lackawanna County bench. The exact wrong person to put on. And I mean 1,000% Democrat. So Chris Chermak's on the blower. He's going to let us know what happened in this election board meeting. Chris, welcome to the program. May you live in interesting times. Oh, my gosh.
Wow. I don't get paid enough, Bob. I can tell you right now.
What happened today? What happened?
Well, they passed the ability to put the special election on, so we're going to have that. And my argument was today, and it wasn't, first of all, let me just clarify something. Nothing would make me happier is to put a Republican on that board or on that election and the Republican win, which I'll do everything humanly possible that I can do to make sure that happens. But first of all, my issue was the election board does not have the authority to call a special election. That only
they don't.
They don't. So that was number one. So to me, this is not even legal. We can't even be doing this. But they pushed it through, and they voted for it.
And a Democrat politician masquerading as a judge, Terry Nealon, was the second vote they needed. Unbelievable. Unreal.
Well, they voted for it. So, but this has been a sham from the beginning. It's nothing but a waste of taxpayer money, the court accompli's time, the Commonwealth Court's time, now the Supreme Court's time. I mean, it's an absolute disgrace, and I'm sick and tired of it. But, here's my concern, Bob. Here's my concern. Now, they just set a precedent. So what happens what if I walk across the street and get hit by a car? Now we're going to have a special election. Now, what are the chances that another Democrat's going to win? Now we'll have 3 Democrats on the seat. Our county has a 2-party system, and it's a majority-minority system, and that's how it should be. Now, I don't think it's right, regardless. And
It doesn't work.
Republican wins.
You brought out the exact right point, Chris Chermak. It doesn't work.
No, it doesn't.
By charter, by law, you're supposed to have 2 members of one party, 1 member of the other. Unbelievable.
Correct. So what does Donnie Frederickson say? Well, there's been times in the past where we had 3 Democrats. I said, Donnie, first of all, they switched their party. That doesn't count. And I said, on top of that, in my opinion, if someone switches their party while they're in office, they should be removed because that's not how they were voted in. So that's not even right, but that's a whole other issue. But my concern was down the road, and I can see it happening, and that's what's going to happen. So they just set a precedence there. And believe me, I want a Republican to run. We need to find a super strong candidate. We don't need a has-been or a wannabe. I need someone. I would love to see someone like John Basilegas step up and say, I'm going to run. Somebody that could really make a difference and somebody that could work with me. This is insane what I deal with on a daily basis. I'm telling you, it's out of control.
This is unbelievable. Again, Judge Nealon should be ashamed of himself for inserting himself into this when he's completely partisan. And you're exactly right. There's all sorts of unintended consequences to this illegal action, an illegal action voted on by a judge. Now, are you preparing, or are you going to file suit or try to get an injunction against this?
Well, I think no. I think what's going to happen. Well, I don't know what I'm going to do, but we have to decide. But I think the Democrat Party is going to file something, so it's probably going to happen. This is going to drag. I'm telling you, this is going to drag out for another 6 months to a year. That's what's going to happen.
My word.
But again, how can I jeopardize an opportunity for a Republican to run? So I was in a no-win situation
you're torn,
there.
Yeah, you're torn.
But again, I'm not worried about this one. We have a mayor race coming up in the city of Scranton. Every Democrat's going to come out. It's going to be a very difficult race for a Republican to win this. But, hey, I'll do everything I can. I'm worried about down the road.
Yeah.
What happens if this is the minority Republican commissioner that needs to be replaced? Now you'll get 3. You'll have 3 Democrats. I mean, that's the possibility. So it's a disgrace.
Shame on Judge Nealon. Shame.
Welcome to Lackawanna County.
We knew Donnie Frederickson's a hack. We knew that Gaughan is a hack. But I knew Terry Nealon was a hack too. But now everybody knows it. I hope. I really do.
Well,
man, oh man, unreal.
Well, we'll see. But I can't believe what goes on. It surprises me every single day. I just want people to know that I come in here and fight it out every single day, and I do the very best I can for these residents of the county. So it's a difficult position.
I feel for you, especially today, Chris Chermak. I hope you get somebody good to run on the Republican side, but man, oh man.
We're gonna find that
best
person.
Wishes to you. Let me say this, for the purpose you mentioned, I think you've got a position where you could either join in if the Democrat Party of Lackawanna County sues, or bring your own suit to enjoin this illegal action. I hope you can.
Well, it's coming down to, do I want to waste taxpayer dollars? This is nuts. So that's the only hesitation I have. If the Democrats are going to do it, well, let them have it. I just can't waste another penny. This is nuts.
All right. Lackawanna County Commissioner Chris Chermak on the unfortunately unsurprising effort by Judge Nealon, a Democrat operative, and Bill Gaughan, a Democrat lunatic, to call a special election rather than have the normal process play out. Thank you, Chris. Appreciate it very much.
Thank you. Talk to you soon. Thanks.
Oh, that's unbelievable. We have to take a break. Bob Cordaro, WILK. We'll be back. This just in. 290 million Americans have died because of the Medicaid cuts that did not happen under the big, beautiful bill. On another note, Cordaro Jewelers watch tells me it's 11 o'clock and time for the news with Brian Hughes. I was killing Great good morning, everyone. My Bacardo Jewelers watch tells me it's 11:09 a.m. here in the great Northeast. This beautiful Friday, August 29th, 2025, the start of Labor Day weekend. This is the Bob Cordaro Show. I am he. It's a big day to fight for America, defend our values, and with the help of our man, John Basiliga, and his great company, Basiliga Hospitality, to honor the brave who have made us and kept us free. People like the veterans we salute, we lost this year, and celebrate today. Like Tommy Woods, Wilkes-Barre Township, August Buddy Kramer, Duryea, Joseph Wagner, Dunmore, Joseph Bronco Kiddish, Drifton, Robert Grovich, West Hazelton, and Michael Rowland, Springfield Township. So with history, our great founding fathers, and the incomparable Constitution of the United States of America as our guides, let us continue today's battle. Gaveling back to order this meeting of the Club for Common Sense and letting you know we will provide a sanctuary of sanity for all of you for the balance of this hour. Hey, this situation in Lackawanna County with politician titled Judge Terry Nealon voting for a special election because he's on the Bill Gaughan side of this Democrat Party fight. Unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. Paul from Scranton on the phone regarding this very same issue. How are you, Paul?
Good. How are you, Bob? Good to talk to you. A little confused, Bob. I'm not as learned in the law as you are, but can you explain to me something about, we already have a law that was voted on the people, the Home Rule Charter.
Yep.
Now they just want to just step over that. Don't they have to rescind that, or don't they have to withdraw it and put it on the ballot?
Yes.
I
And
didn't see that in the paper. I'm just a little bit confused.
it's unreal. And this is a Lackawanna County judge who's doing this. That's the
Absolutely.
amazing. He's breaking the law. It's insane.
Absolutely. Not only that, but can you explain to us people that don't know too much about a special election? Do they have to bring all the machines out, open up all the little polling places? Do they have to print all the ballots? Do they have to mail them? They have to do. I mean, people want to know this, and they don't realize what they're getting into with this kind of a thing.
Right? There is no election this fall, right? Well,
No.
there is. They're gonna. I guess. They're gonna have to change everything and tag it onto the November Scranton mayor election and all of that.
So we're going to deal without another person until November. I mean, this is ridiculous.
It's amazing. It's and they are breaking the law, which is a judge breaking the law.
It's just unheard of.
By
It's
the
just
way,
unheard of.
Paul, when I was county commissioner, we, because of decline in population, we had to consolidate voting offices. Well, the Democrats didn't like it. I don't know why, but they didn't like it. And they were preparing to file a suit, and then they did. Well, Terry Nealon, the judge, volunteers to take the case. We find out later that he was the one that was advising the Democrats on how to sue and why to sue.
Unbelievable.
He was sanctioned by the state ethics board. I mean, and I've got nothing against Terry personally. I like him, but my God, this is just as insane as that.
Terrible. It's terrible. You know, I've lost a lot of respect. I was a red, white, and blue flag waver, as you know. I love the military. I love our president, whatever party he belonged to. I love the FBI. I've lost so much faith over the last couple of years. I can't understand it. But thank God I got a guy out there. I don't like what he says all the time, but I like what he's doing. His name is Donald J. Trump, and I think he's going to change it. But I don't know, how do we change? How do we fight this thing as an ordinary citizen? How do we say that, listen, we're not going to stand for this anymore, like the commercial said?
This is outrageous. And I guess Chris Chermak was on earlier.
I heard him, yeah.
And he gave what is probably the only way to show the Judge Nealons and a judge who wants to be a politician and the Bill Gauhans, tax raisers who are incompetent at their job, is to vote a Republican in and make them the majority. I don't know if that's possible, but, man, that's what we should do.
You know, in Lackawanna County, it's really difficult. J.C., the guy on the cross, could run as a Republican, and it's hard for him to get elected for some reason at all. But I'm not sure that's the answer. I'm not going to challenge Chris. I like him very much, but I'm just saying, how can you just it's like a stop sign. It says stop. Now all of a sudden I go up and I get arrested by the cop, and he says, you didn't stop. I said, well, no, now we're going to change it. It means slow down and look.
Yeah.
I mean, how could you do this? That's the point. And we, the people, are letting it happen, so we have to have a voice. I don't know how to do it other than to contact Chermak and tell them. But we have to stand up, and that's what I'm asking all the people that are listening in. Stand up for what you believe in is right, and bring it to the people and let them decide.
Even Democrats and even people that vote like Dummycrats have to be saying, this is insane. A judge breaking the law. I'm going to vote just this one time for a Republican because I've had enough.
Yeah, you might be right.
I don't know.
But under their rule, if there's a vacancy and there's not an election, like you say, for 2 years, that means you go without a person to serve the people for 2 years. How does that operate?
I know.
It's like a surgeon in the hospital. If you don't have a guy for 2 years, who's going to help cure the people? It doesn't make sense.
Yep.
It doesn't make sense.
Well, thank you,
I don't want
Paul.
to belabor it. I want to thank you so much for your time. And
it's an important issue to highlight, Paul. I appreciate it, and I know you're not only an observer but a participant in all of this over the years. Thank you.
You're welcome. You're very welcome.
All right, our man
Have a
Paul.
good day. God bless.
You too, my friend.
Okay.
Outrageous. Absolutely outrageous. Couple of texts I want to get to on various issues. It said on immigration, I just got a blurb from Fox News. The Maryland dad, who's also a wife-beating gang member, human trafficker, illegal alien, is seeking a gag order against the President of the United States. Oh, my God, I didn't see that yet. The listener continues, how far have we fallen? And the Democrat Party will take the side of the illegal alien, wife-beating gangbanger over the President of the United States. They will. They're taking the side of murderers and criminals over victims. It's insane. Somebody else texts in, all the Bushes are a crime family. Prescott Bush was indicted for funding Germany during World War II. Another on immigration. We already have 1.5 million people illegally every year. But 500,000 Haitians were legally here. Enough. Pay Americans and they will work. I'm with you, brother. Thank you. Another, Bob, what do you think of the Dunmore football team wearing the helmet pad covers during the game? That's not done in football generally, and maybe it should be done more. Safety first. Although, I'm a little vain. I might not want to wear it if I was playing, but safety first. I had somebody mention that to me the other night. We were walking Chauncey, and one of the neighbors said, how about Dunmore wearing those, that extra padding? Hey, safety first. I can't have a problem with it. I really can't. But I know it's gonna look odd. Somebody texts in, if a Republican wins the special election, Gauhan will lose it. Another, hi, Bob, LTS. I remember listening to Tommy Woods as a kid on the mighty 590 Warm. You're right. He had that silky smooth voice. In the late 70s, while employed at Warm, Tommy stopped by for a visit. What a genuine gentleman, great guy. In the 80s, I bump into him at our Roman Catholic Charismatic prayer meeting at King's College. He was the real deal. Great guy, says Rich from West Pittston. Yeah, one of our veterans. Somebody checks in and saying, I absolutely love the picture of little Billy Gaughan in a suit with a bouquet of weeds. It absolutely screams arrogant elitist. Never did a hard day's work in his life. Bleeper. What a clown. Okay. I can't disagree with you. It's just a disgrace. Just a disgrace. RW says all this special election for is hopefully to appoint one of their cronies. I know. And somebody else on that point, as Trump said, vote Republican. What do you have to lose? Yep. Somebody on the Dunmore helmet thing. My son plays for Dunmore, and I say that safety first. It does look odd, but the players actually like it and say it feels better when tackling. Yeah, and that's just what I came to the conclusion. If it's safer, if it doesn't impede performance, do it. So kudos to Dunmore for wearing it. It may not look great, but, hey, keep the kids safe, and now they get hit as hard as they want. We'll take a break. We'll be back. It's the Bob Cordaro Show. ELO. Murph says they had the #1 album in the UK with Hold On Tight, this date 1981, and this date 2008. John McCain picked Alaska Governor Sarah Palin. She knew foreign policy because she could see Russia from her bedroom or something. I don't know. Very likable, but not not the brightest bulb. Gave a little bit of sort of a juice to the campaign, but McCain was just lackluster. Just lackluster. Hey, Mother Teresa for today, August 29. She says the greatest disease in the West today is not tuberculosis or leprosy. It's being unwanted, unloved, and uncared for. We can cure physical diseases with medicine, but the only cure for loneliness, despair, and hopelessness is love. There are so many people in the world who are dying for a piece of bread, but there are many more people dying for a little love. The poverty in the West is a different kind of poverty. It's not only a poverty of loneliness, but also a profound spirituality poverty. There's a hunger for love as there is a hunger for God. And on that very point, the Democrats are against everything that is good. They're for everything that is evil. They just are. I don't know why. Just as a reaction to Trump. Well, now they're against prayer. Jen Psaki, Ilhan Omar, the left-wing lunatic politicians condemning thoughts and prayers for the people of Minneapolis, for the families that suffered this outrageous, horrendous killing at the hands of a trans sicko. I don't get it. By the way, here's the thing. They're in control of the laws in Minnesota, the Democrats, for decades. They could have outlawed anything they wanted to. They could have had the most severe gun control in the world. What are you proposing? To do more? Your gun laws didn't work again. And now you're against prayer? These are a bunch of sick people. The core of the Democrat Party is rotten. Almost beyond redemption. Wow. It's scary. Unbelievable. Frank from Old Forge on this Lackawanna County special election situation. Wow, Frank. Unbelievable.
You know, Bob, every time I go into the Lackawanna County Courthouse and those grounds, I think of you. I think of the way that you had the foresight, the way that place is developed, the way that it stands out. It's definitely one of the most beautiful spots in Lackawanna County, the Lackawanna County Courthouse. Now, inside, who we have inside, right, Terry Nealon. I am totally surprised. I didn't know that about Terry and the history that you provided us.
Yep.
So, yeah, not the right. You could see which way it goes. But the
totally
point I make
political
is
as a judge. Totally political. And now acting it out again.
And extracurricular decisions, right? That's outside of the charter. Like you're making these decisions that
a judge breaking the law. A judge ignoring the law. Yeah.
And it's not Bob, it's not our opinion. But the opinion is when everyone goes to La Festa this weekend, look around. See what the Republican leadership got you. It got you that beautiful courthouse. Now, you're saying about government, this is the chance you're going to have now with this special election to pick somebody. Bob, we've all had to tighten our belts. Billy Gahan hasn't. Like, how could you be putting these reassessments and these tax increases on us at this point? So I don't think the people like that, and I do hope they change their voting patterns. But when you're at La Festa, look around. It's a beautiful spot. Republican leadership, we haven't had it since. And guess what? We can get back to those days where you're not – it's just not crazy and it's not anti-family, anti-person. they wanted to put a health department in. Well, what is that service? Everybody's got their own doctors except what? Illegals. So now they're bankrupting you and putting in a service you don't need. I hope, Bob, the people have had it. But like I say, every time I walk into that courthouse, I'm up there. I'm like, look what the space, the way it lays out, and the way you can have La Festa there, Bob. Hats off to you, my friend. That was a brilliant move back then.
Well, thank you, my man. Well,
So
Frank, I tell you, I'll guarantee he volunteered to be on the election board. Guaranteed, Terry Nealon volunteered. Unreal.
Oh yeah, listen, Bob. Here's one thing I know. They didn't call me to be on the election board, Bob. So you know what? Why not? Because if it's printed black and white, I don't care if you're Republican, Democrat, Green. If it's in black and white, and that's the charter that the people voted on, by to God, you know my commitment, Bob. I am not going to waver not one scintilla. So if the Republicans wanted it and it was wrong, guess what I'd say? No. Hence, the Democrats wanted this, and guess what Judge Nealon should have said? No. It's simple, Bob. When you're for the people, it's simple. When you're not, you'll go any way that they direct you.
Amen. Thanks, Frank. Appreciate it,
You're
my
welcome,
friend.
Bob.
Happy Labor Day. We've got to take a break. Bob Cordaro, WILK. I've got calls I got to get to, but we want to hear from our great sponsors. We want to do the Veterans Tribute, the weather, and then we got Mike from Duryea and others waiting to talk to us. We'll be back. Our Veterans Tribute brought to you by John Basiliga. Basiliga Hospitality. A reminder, you'll be on Courthouse Square this weekend for La Festa Italiana, about 100,000 plus. Stop by, check out, have a cocktail, an appetizer, or a dinner at Atera 519 on Linden Street. And if you're up for some nightlife, Sergei's, the nightclub. Have a cocktail there in the afternoon. What is a veteran? A stone found at the Bloomsburg Legion. A veteran, whether active duty, discharged, retired, or reserve, is someone who, at one point in his or her life, wrote a blank check made payable to the United States of America and its people for an amount of up to and including his or her life. That's every one of them. Joseph Bronco Kiddish, drifting. We lost him August 23rd. He was born in Freeland. He was a Marine Corps veteran. He loved riding his Harley Davidson. Surviving are his loving wife, Jody, a son, Joseph, brothers, grandsons, and many other family members. Joseph Bronco Kiddish. Robert Grovich. Mr. Grovich, formerly of West Hazelton, he passed away peacefully at his home in Livermore, California, August 18th. Graduate of West Hazelton High School, class of 52, he proudly served us in the United States Marine Corps. Upon returning from Korea, he met and married the love of his wife, Sarah Machetto. They moved back to West Hazelton, where Bob was actively involved as a 32nd degree Mason and also a member of the Lions Club and officer with the VFW. He worked for MetLife Insurance and earned his CLU and became an assistant manager. He was promoted to a position as manager in Reading, PA. Then they moved out to Mission Viejo, California, where he had a successful business in the insurance field and as a financial planner. Surviving are his devoted wife, Sarah, sons, daughter, 9 grandchildren, 2 great-grandchildren. Robert Grovich. Michael Rowland. He was 80 when he passed away August 25th. He was from Springfield Township, York. He was the husband of the late Patricia Rowland. Born in Shenandoah, youngest of 10 children, a graduate of Shenandoah Catholic High School. During the Vietnam War, he served us in the U.S. Navy on the USS Reeves. Recipient of the Vietnam Service Medal with 3 Bronze Stars. That means he was in it. And the Vietnam Campaign Medal with Device. He worked for Ernie's Camera Shop, the Evening Herald newspaper as a freelance photographer, and retired from the Pennsylvania Department of Public Welfare in Pottsville. Mr. Rowland was also a member of the Knights of Columbus, Council 618, former Eucharistic minister with his church, Annunciation Divine Mercy Parish, Shenandoah. He's survived by his son, 2 grandchildren, and other family members. Michael Rowland, our great veterans this hour, brought to you by our man John Basiliga, who reminds you to stop by Atera 519 this weekend and check out Sergei's, the nightclub, when you're on Courthouse Square. Storm Tiger 16 forecast from meteorologist Joe Snedeker. Today, partly sunny and breezy with a passing shower, 70 degrees. Tonight, partly cloudy, 46. Saturday, mainly sunny, 72. Sunday, sunny, high 75. Monday, Labor Day, sunny, high 78. That's the weather. Beautiful forecast. I got a polenta party to go to up in Peckville Saturday. I've got to go to the Festa as often as I can. I got to stop by Atera. Busy, busy, busy weekend. Who was the comedian who used to say that? Busy, busy, busy. He was one of the voices of Frosty the Snowman, the cartoon Christmas special. Interesting. Somebody said that Palin never said that. I'm not sure okay. Never said about I can see the Russia from here. Okay. Yeah, no, she got cremated unfairly by the media. They hated that a Republican might be the first was the first national candidate for real. Well, second. But that she might get elected. They had to stop that. And she was a good conservative. Let's go to Mike from Duryea on this horrific shooting in Minnesota. Hi, Mike.
Good. I haven't had a chance to talk. Has anybody talked to the mother yet, or has anybody pressed
No,
charges
she's lawyered
against her?
up. She's lawyered up.
Oh, and I've been watching this here, and I hope that none of the priests abused this kid when he was at church. I don't know if that's been brought up or not, but for some reason in the back of my mind.
No, it's a thought. It's a thought.
No,
it's something. What
it's
turned
a
him
shame.
into a depraved evil person? I don't know.
Well, that's another thing. He did attack the Catholics, and again, I hope that they put an end to the trans bathrooms with women, and you know what I mean.
Yep.
That's got to stop.
All this Democrat Party lunacy regarding transsexuals has got to stop. It has to.
Because, and I didn't realize.
Well, they're against prayer now. Now they're against prayer. It's insane.
Well, no, yeah. I didn't realize, though, that the one FBI guy said that there's like 40% commit suicide to trans.
Oh, yeah. It's a serious mental disorder that needs to be handled with great love, great support, not enabling. You can't enable.
Yeah.
It doesn't work.
I mean, if you want to do it, you want to do it at home. No guns, no knives, no nothing, and you know what I mean, and no bathrooms, and they got to end that. I don't give a crap what it is,
I'm with
because
you.
all it takes is, and there's a lot of good-looking high school cheerleaders that are snubby, and they would just rip into a trans girl, and then all he's got to do is get pissed off enough because these good-looking female cheerleaders. They would get pissed off at them and bring a gun in and shoot them. You know what I mean? It's just crazy how these transes are thinking.
There's trans people, and they've got issues, obviously, that have now, tried to kill the president, shot the president. The other killing in Nashville. I mean, we're getting to scary territory, and the Democrat Party is telling these individuals who are on the edge already that someone's trying to wipe them out, which is a complete lie.
Yeah, it doesn't matter what. Like he says, it doesn't matter what we do. I mean, we could solve cancer. I mean, Trump could solve cancer. Says, okay. Well, it was wrong that he did it because now we're going to lose money. The doctors are going to lose money.
I know.
I know. It's just crazy. It's crazy how they
Nutty
think.
Stuff. Mike, we got to run, but thank you. Always a pleasure. We'll take this break. Bob Cordaro, WILK. We will return. Thank you, Gerard. Thank you, Frank. Frank and my man Rick Bigelow tells me it's 2:45 in the morning in Noumea, New Caledonia. How about that? That's our new one. Noumea, New Caledonia, and he's on a bar stool there lamenting to Joe, the bartender. Even as my man Tommy Pop P is patrolling South Apple Street as I speak. Everything is in order there. My man John Wagner, another great man, he says, I was going to call you yesterday concerning the shooting in Minneapolis. I can relate to that as I attended Catholic school for 12 years. It's a terrible thing and an example of the devil at work. I still pray to St. Michael daily, and I don't understand how this can happen. Oh, you know it, John. Man, oh, man, oh, man. Awful, awful, awful. Hey, let's go to Bill from Pittston. Hey, Bill, how are you, my man?
Very sad about the situation in Minnesota, and especially the Democrats who are the most insensitive scumbags on the face of the earth. I was watching the Five yesterday, and Joey Jones, the veteran, that lost both of his legs, was defending the right to bear arms and how, the Democrats are playing this political ploy. And Jessica Tarloff came out and said, that's to be expected from you, Joey, pulling the leg card out to win an argument. And it was completely, about him losing his legs, and he was making an emotional appeal to people and kind of got silent on the set. But it demonstrates again that the Democrats supposedly are sensitive.
Well, Jessica Tarloff defending the indefensible and believing the ridiculous. And I don't like her. They need, a Democrat voice on the show. But it's much more reasonable when Harold Ford is there. And because I do love that show. But here's the other thing. I said it earlier. Bill, the Democrats control Minnesota and Minneapolis forever. They could pass whatever gun laws they want. And they didn't work. Their version didn't work. How do you blame Republicans for anything that happens in a Democrat city? In a Democrat city for decades.
Well, Joey made the point, if Democrats really cared about people's lives, they would let Trump send in the National Guard in New York and Detroit. And they, like you said, they could do this, but they don't. And the thing that really ticks me off, Bishop Robert Barron of Minnesota attacked that mayor that was saying prayer doesn't work. They don't get it.
Good for him. I read Robert Barron every day.
Prayer consoles us with a peace that surpasses all understanding, and they don't get that.
And it's got power far beyond their government.
That's right.
Thank you, Bill. Appreciate it always. Time for Bloomberg Money Minute because my Picardo Jewelers watch says it's 11:50. Somebody texted in exactly my sentiments. 6 people shot dead, including a 5-year-old little boy, shot in the head this past weekend in Chicago. The media says nothing and goes along with fat-ass Pritzker's assessment that everything is fine. Unbelievable. Disgrace. Somebody's Mountaintop says, hi, Bob, LTS. I think Frank Sinatra would love Fiesta Italiano. Have a great weekend, and thank you for all you bring to us. Well, thank you. Hey, by the way, I was with the founder of that feast playing golf yesterday with former Commissioner Bob Pettinato, who is beyond enjoyable. And we didn't get to talk about Festa because, we're talking about nonsense. But anyway, thank you for that thing on Pritzker. It's exactly what my sentiments are. Democrats are a disgrace. By the way, Bulldog insisted we finish with Lou Bega, the number 1 hit with Mambo number 5, Murph says, in 1999 this date. It's almost hard to believe, but he likes it. And by the way, another point. Bulldog told me, somebody pointed out who Frosty was in that cartoon, but it was Billy DeWolf was the comedian who voiced some professor, whatever, the evil magician. Busy, busy, busy. Yeah, thanks, Bulldog. Hey, quickly, let's get to the policeman's prayer, and I apologize I can't get to the phones. My man Nicky DeSanto sent this in. Remember, they'll be on the thin blue line this weekend. Lord, bless the ones who wear the badge, the ones who walk the beat, protect and keep them safe while they are on the street. As they wait and as they watch, doing good for all, guide their minds and give them strength for each and every call. Ready to put their lives on the line, give them courage each day. Let them know you're always there in each and every way. So bless the ones who wear the badge, protect them from harm. Always keep them safe and in your loving arms. The policeman's prayer. And then, as always, we'd like to finish mentioning our veterans quickly. Brought to you by our guy, John Basiliga. Robert Grovich, West Hazelton. Joseph Bronco Kiddish, Drifton. Michael Rowland, Springfield Township, York. Thomas Robert Woods, Wilkes-Barre Township. My man, Buddy Kramer, Duryea. Joseph Wagner, Dunmore. Great men. Tomorrow never comes. Norma Cornett Merrick. We found that in the obituary of beloved Doreen Gorieb. If I knew it would be the last time that I'd see you walk out the door, I would give you a hug and kiss and call you back for just one more. If I knew it would be the last time, I would spare an extra minute or two to stop and say I love you instead of assuming you know I do. So just in case tomorrow never comes and today is all I get, I'd like to say how much I love you, and I hope we will never forget. Tomorrow is not promised to anyone, young or old alike. And today may be the last chance you get to hold your loved one tight. So if you're waiting for tomorrow, why not do it today? 3-day weekend. For if tomorrow never comes, you'll surely regret the day that you didn't take that extra time for a smile, a hug, or a kiss, and you were too busy to grant someone what turned out to be their final wish. So hold your loved ones close today. Reach out to those you know and whisper in their ear that you love them very much and you'll always hold them dear. Take time to say, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, or it's okay. And if tomorrow never comes, you'll have no regrets about today. Have a great weekend, guys. Love being with you. We'll see you on Tuesday, off on Labor Day. Check out Courthouse Square in Scranton this weekend. That's where it's all happening. Italian Mass, 10 o'clock at the Cathedral on Sunday, among the other highlights. And Gene Passarello, 100-year-old Gene Passarello, World War II veteran, will be leading the Gene Dempsey Orchestra and getting a special tribute Monday at noon. Have a great one, guys. But for now, God willing, I'll be with you Tuesday, but we must gavel this meeting of the Club for Common Sense to a close. Have a good one, guys.